Dear learners, Namaskar, and I am Dr. Chunnu Prasad, and the topic of your social science lesson is political parties and pressure group. Before going to discuss the topic political parties and pressure group, let me tell you very briefly the objective of this lesson, and the objectives are meaning and the role of political party, characteristic of political parties, role and functions of political parties in a democratic government in India, types of political parties in India, national and regional political parties in India, major policies of national political parties, differences between political parties and pressure group as well as interest group, and the role of pressure or interest group, and the last objective is impact of political parties on our daily lives. So, dear learners, democratic government is considered a people's government run by the people themselves. In practice, in most of the countries, the democratic government are run by the representative elected by the people, and you might be thinking how the people get themselves represented in the government. People elect their representative through the process of election. In elections, candidates generally are nominated by organizations known as political parties. Yes, it is true that some of the candidates contest election as independent also. However, participation of the people does not begin and end with election only. So, what it is? People also participate in the process of governance through groups known as pressure group or interest groups. And in this lesson, we shall discuss political parties and pressure groups, especially in the context of our country, India. Now, what do you mean by political parties? We will try to understand the meaning and characteristic of political parties. Learners, why do we need political parties? And this question always arises in our mind. In the present day democratic countries, political parties are considered as essential components for the formation and working of the government. Of course, in some countries like Libya, Oman, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, there are government without parties, and these countries are not democratic and political parties are banned there. We can therefore infer that democracies function successfully in countries which have competitive party system, and political parties actually help the institutions and process of a government democratic. They enable people to participate in elections and other processes of governance, educate them and facilitate them to make policy choices. If political parties are necessary to make the working of the representative government possible, you may well ask as to what is the meaning of a political party, what are its main characteristics and what are their roles in a democratic government. Now, first we learn about the meaning of a political party. So, a political party is generally described as an organized body of people who share common principles and cherish certain common goods or goals regarding the political system. A political party operates and seeks political power through constitutional means to translate its policy into practices. Now, it is a body of like-minded people having similar view on matters of public concern. Gilchrist defined a political party as an organized group of citizens who profess or share the same political view and who, by acting as a political unit, try to control the government. The another definition given by Gettel is a political party consists of a group of citizens more or less organized who act as a political unit and who, by the use of their voting power, aim to control and the government and carry out their general policies. So, learners, from this definition it is clear that political parties are organized bodies and are primarily concerned with the acquisition and retention of power. Now, what is the characteristic of political parties? Some of the characteristic we will discuss here. The most important characteristic of political party is a political party is an organized and fairly large group of people. The political party is an organized group of people, share common principle and cherish certain common goals. Its members hold similar views on matters of public concern. Its task revolves around seeking political power through collective efforts of its members, and the means employed in seeking control over the government are always constitutional, usually through election. And the last one is include the translation of their already declared policies into government action. So, these are the broad characteristics of political parties. What are the functions and the role of political parties? Though at times regarded as evil, political parties are essential for the proper functioning of representative democracy. Learner, do you not find some people blame political parties for having created a mess in public life? And yet you see political parties perform vital function in every political system. Do you know who places candidates before the electorate when there are elections in the country? Do you know who carries out campaign during elections? Have you ever realized how a government is formed and who is nominated as the prime minister or the chief minister? All these questions related to the functions of political parties and their role in the democratic polity. We may briefly understand some of the functions of political parties, especially in the context of our country India. The first one is political parties nominate candidates during election. Second point is political parties campaign to obtain support from their candidate in the election. Third one is political party places policies and programs before the voters and help them choose candidates of a particular political party. Fourth point is political parties from the government, if they are able to secure majority during the elections and implement policies and programs on which they receive the mandate of the people. Fifth point is political parties form opposition when they are in minority in the legislature and constantly put pressure on the government for proper governance. The sixth important point is political parties help in making legislation while participating in debates and as members of the legislative committees. The seventh point is political parties help to impact or impart political education to people and formulate the shape of public opinion. The eighth point is political parties collect and articulate people's demand and convey them to the government. And the ninth one is political parties coordinate between numerous government institutions, especially legislature and executive. And the last one is political parties smoothen the process of change of power after election or every in between elections. So, these are the important role of the political parties. Now, political parties in India have been performing various functions from time to time quite effectively. They have made representative government in India both possible and successful for over last so many decades, and the political parties provide an effective link between the citizen and the government on the one hand and between the electorates and their representatives on the other hand. So, political parties in India, how they evolve, or we will discuss here the evolution of political parties in India. So, the establishment of Indian National Congress in 1885 in India is generally considered as the beginning of the formation of parties. To begin with, the Indian National Congress, which led national movement, was an umbrella organization representing interest of all sections of the society. Now, the formative phase of the Indian National Congress was dominated by the moderates like Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee, Gopal Krishna Gokhale and others, as well as the extremists like Lal Bal Pal, that is referring to Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal. And after the First World War, the Indian National Congress steered the path of India's independence under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. There also emerged some other political parties during this period like the Muslim League, the Communist Party of India and the Hindu Mahasabha and some others also. After independence in 1947, the Indian National Congress transferred itself into a political party in the sense of contesting election and forming government. It remained a dominant political party up to 1967, as it continued to win elections held in 1952, 1957, 1962 and 1967 at the center as well as in almost all the states. And this period, known as one party dominance system, in view of the Congress winning majority, whereas the large number of other political parties contesting elections winning only few seats. And since 1967, the party system in India has been in constant flux. And in 1971, although the Congress won the majority in the Lok Sabha, in many states various other political parties formed government, mostly in coalition. And after 1977, it appeared that India had moved towards a two-party system, and the two party being the Indian National Congress and the Janata Party. But it was only for a very short period. The Janata Party, which was in fact a coalition of various functions like the Congress O, the Janasangh, the Socialist, the Bharatiya Lok Dal and the Congress for Democracy, split into different factions. Now, the Janata split once again gave advantage to the Congress, which returned to power at the center in 1980 and remained there until 1989. However, the Congress has not been able to regain its dominant position even ever since 1989. Indian party system witnessed a coalition system of government from 1989 onwards. Since 1999, two broad coalition have come up, one known as the National Democratic Alliance, which is called NDA, led by Bharatiya Janata Party, and the second known as the United Progressive Alliance, that is UPA, led by Congress Party. And at present in India, in fact, there is a multi-party system as a very large number of parties participates in political processes. Now, we will learn about the party system in India, about the nature, types and policies. And learners, if you look at the numerous political parties in the country, their uniqueness comes to the fore, and you cannot say that the party system in India is either a single party system or a dominant one party system or a clear two party system or a multi party system. The features found in any of the above party system may be found in India's party system. For many years now, the party system has not been a single party system, but in 2014, the Bharatiya Janata Party emerged as the single largest dominant party and able to form government with full majority. Now, what is the definition or how we can understand the dominant feature of India's party system? The party system in India displays major characteristics. What are these characteristics? The party system has a multiplicity of political parties competing to attain power at the center as well as the states. Political parties are not hegemonic, but competitive, though many a time we see a particular party aligning with one national political party and then shifting to another on the eve of general election. The regional political parties have come to play a vital role in the formation of governments at the center. Now, they also have a national agenda. At the center, these regional political parties support one national political party or the other in return for their having power in the concerned states. Now, what are the types of political parties in India? Political parties in India are classified by the Election Commission for the allocation of symbols. The Commission classifies parties into three main heads: national parties, state parties and registered, that is unrecognized parties. The Election Commission grants political parties the status of national parties on three grounds. What are these three grounds? There should be a recognized political party in 4 or more states. It should have won at least 4% of the seats in the last Lok Sabha election or 3.33% of the seats in the assembly election from the state. And the third one is all the candidates put by the party should have polled at least 6% of the total valid votes in the election. Now, the first one we will discuss is the national political parties. National political parties have area of influences extending over the entire country. Since the last general election, the recognized national political parties in India are the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Indian National Congress, the Nationalist Congress Party, the Communist Party of India, the Communist Party of India Marxist, the Bahujan Samaj Party and the Rashtriya Janata Dal. Now, we will discuss one by one. The second one is the regional political parties. As recognized by the Election Commission are those political parties which receive a certain amount of votes or seats in a state. The Election Commission grants election symbols to the political parties and the candidates who contest elections. The number of regional political parties in the country is fairly large, and some include Trinamool Congress, which is in West Bengal, Assam Gana Parishad in Assam, now it is called Assam, All India Anna Dravida Munitara Kazhagam, that is Tamil Nadu, Dravida Munitara Kazhagam, that is Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, National Conference, that is Jammu and Kashmir, Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh or Uttarakhand, Shiromani Akali Dal in Punjab, Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, and Telugu Desam in Andhra Pradesh, and other so many regional parties are also found in many of the states. Now, Indian political parties and their policies. What are the policies of that political parties? You have learned that there are a number of political parties at the national as well as at the state levels. Every political party pronounces its policies and programs as committed to the electorate, and these are normally included in a document known as manifestos. Dear learners, as you know or may be aware, manifestos are published by political parties during elections, and we may discuss the major political parties' policies of some, which is very important. So, we will start with the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Bharatiya Janata Party, founded in 1980 after distancing itself from the then Janata Party. The Bharatiya Janata Party is the new incarnation of its erstwhile formation, Bharatiya Jana Sangha, that is BJS. BJP as an important political party both at the center as well as in some of the states. The BJP stands for nationalism and national integration, democracy, positive secularism, Gandhian socialism, and value based politics. Titled towards the right in the initial stage, the BJP is the centrist as is the Congress now. The party has formed government with full majority in the center in 2014 and become the single largest majority party. It also expanded its base and formed government to number of states. The second important political party is the Congress Party. The Indian National Congress, founded in Bombay in 1885, and the Indian National Congress, now the Congress I, played a leading role in India's freedom struggle, and after independence the Congress emerged as the leading party of governance and ruled at the center and in almost all the states till 1967. The first 2 decades in India's political history were dominated by the Congress, and the period came to be described as the Congress system. The dominance of the Congress decreased gradually. The Congress is committed to democracy, secularism and socialism. It is in a way a centrist political party. It advocates both agrarian based Indian economy and industrialization. The third important party is the Communist Party. The major communist party in India are the Communist Party of India, that is CPI, founded in 1925, and the Communist Party of Indian Marxist, CPIM, which came into being after the split in the Communist Party of India in 1964. Over the years, the Communist Party of India Marxist became relatively more powerful than the CPI, that is Communist Party of India. The CPIM and the CPI had been in power in West Bengal, Kerala and Tripura. The Communist Party are workers and peasants parties based on the ideology of Marxism and Leninism. The Communist Party stands for socialism, socialist ownership of industries, agrarian reform, rural upliftment and self-reliant economy, and they are opposed to capitalism, imperialism and globalization. The another party is the Bahujan Samaj Party, which founded in 1984 by Kansiram. And the Bahujan Samaj Party, that is BSP, claimed to be the party of the deprived section of Indian society, especially the poor, the landless, the unemployed and the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and other backward castes, who constitute the majority in the Indian population. It draws inspiration from the teaching of Sahu Maharaj, Jyotiba Phule, Ramaswamy Naikar and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And the BSP works on the principle of Sarvajan Hitaya and Sarvajan Sukhaya, which means the welfare and the happiness for all. It formed the government in Uttar Pradesh for many terms. The another important party is the Nationalist Congress Party. The Nationalist Congress Party is a breakaway group of the Indian National Congress. The trio who formed the party in 1999 included Sharad Pawar, P.S. Sangma and Tariq Anwar. The party's policies are more or less same as that of the Congress, and it has major support base in Maharashtra, it has been a coalition partners of the Congress led UPA in 2004, and the last one is the Rashtriya Janata Dal. The Rashtriya Janata Dal, that is RJD, is another party which came into existence after disintegration of the Janata Dal in 1997, and the party was formed by Lalu Prasad Yadav. The party stands for socialist programs and social justice for the backward caste and minorities. It had been a power in Bihar for nearly a decade. It was also a coalition partner of the Congress led UPA in 2004. So, these are the broader national political parties. Now, we will talk on the regional political parties. Regional political parties have emerged to fulfill regional aspirations. They become quite popular in their respective states, that they have even begun dominating state politics and capturing power in their respective states. Their enhanced political position helped the national political parties from coalition government at the center. Now, it is because of regional political parties that our party system has been federalized. The center has begun to address their problems and respond their aspiration through accommodation. Now, the evolving nature of our party system has strengthened the cooperative trends of our federal system. The third one is the registered, that is unrecognized parties. A large number of political parties are registered at the Election Commission without having been recognized as national or state parties. Now, we will talk on the political parties and the pressure group or interest group, what is the differences and how political parties are differ from pressure group or interest group. So, dear learners, have you ever been a part of student union or any other youth organization, or have you experienced the functioning of any organized group like trade union or farmers association, teachers association, association of business person or women organization? You will agree that these group or organization are not political party. So, the question comes, then what these are? Dear learners, as you may find in any country, especially a democratic one, there are a large number of organized groups which directly or indirectly influence politics and government. The numbers of such organization or organized group are united in respect of some specific interest that they have. For example, the workers of a factory are organized in what is called the trade union to promote their interest. Similarly, there are numerous organized groups which are called pressure groups or interest group. What are these groups or interest groups? How do they differ from each other? What role do they or these play in the political system of our country? So, we will take broadly these questions. Pressure groups and interest group. Let us discuss this group. Interest groups are organized groups of people which seek to attain certain interest, and they are also because they are well organized, they have certain common interest. The interest that unites the member is specific and particular. The members of such organized groups seek to attain, protect and promote their interests for which they are united. Generally, interest group and pressure groups are considered synonymous, but they are not so. All pressure groups and interest groups, while all interest groups are not pressure groups. A pressure group is an interest group which exerts pressure on the government or the decision makers for the fulfillment of their interest. It is important to make a distinction between an interest group and a pressure group. So, what are these distinctions? Interest groups may exist without even exerting influence on the government or the decision makers, but unless a group exerts such pressure to influence to or pressurize the authorities in order to achieve the desired objective, it may not be a pressure group. Now, what is the difference between political party and pressure group? Because we have discussed the political parties, the interest group and the pressure groups. Now, we will discuss the differences between the political parties and the pressure group. So, learners, though the distinction between pressure group and political parties are important in our right, their relationship is markedly close and clear. The trade union do help their respective political parties by providing them workers during elections. On the other, it is the political parties which advocate legislation in respect of the interests of the workers. So, learners, do you know that the National Student Union of India, that is NSUI, provides future leadership to the Congress, while the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, that is ABVP, does so for the Bharatiya Janata Party. While some pressure groups are linked to particular political parties, there are many pressure groups which have no linkages to any political parties. But it is important to understand that the pressure group are different from political parties, and the distinction between the two can be like: pressure groups are not primarily political in nature. Pressure groups do not seek direct power, they only influence those who are in power for taking decision in favor of their concerns. The political parties seek power of the government. Pressure group do not contest elections, they only support the political parties of their choices. Political parties nominate candidates, contest election and participate in the election campaigns. Pressure group do not necessarily have political ideologies. Political parties are always wedded to their ideologies. The interests of the pressure group are usually specific and particular, whereas the political parties have national and international interest. Now, what is the role and technique of pressure groups? What different role and technique they use to pressurize the government or the system? Pressure group play a vital role in a democratic functioning of the polity. They help promote, discuss, debate and mobilize public opinion on major public issues, and in this process they educate people and widen their vision, enhance democratic participation and raise and articulate issues. These groups help bring changes in public policy and encourage decentralization of power. Now, they also help research on specialized issues by collecting relevant data on concerned issues. The techniques used by pressure group includes appeals, petitions, demonstration, picketing, lobbying and processions. They also release organized discussions and debates, put up posters and chant slogans. They may carry out satyagraha, that is a non-violent protest. Now, at times pressure group resort to strike in order to pressurize the legislators. The executive officials, the decision makers, often they resort to boycott. Have you not been seen lawyers sometime boycotting the court, the teachers, their classes? And the pressure group resort to such activities to influence government policies. Now, what are the pressure groups in India? How pressure groups in India working? In India, there is a numerous interest of pressure groups. There are pressure groups based on traditional social structure. There are groups like Arya Pratinidhi Sabha, Sanatan Dharma Sabha, Parsi Anjuman and Anglo-Indian Christian Association. Then there are the Nair Society, which is caste based group such as Brahmin Sabha, and the language groups such as the Tamil Sangha and the Anjuman Tarike Urdu and so on and so forth. So, dear learners, you may find other type of interest group which may include bodies such as the Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, that is FICCI, or those related to workers and peasants like All India Trade Union, the Kisan groups such as the Civil Service Association or the Non-Gazetted Officers Union. India has a very large number of civil society organizations, that is organization established by citizens of the country to pursue certain interests, and many of these organizations act as a pressure group on the government to promote implementation of policies in their areas of concern. Pressure groups become strong on the basis of participation by a large number of people who feel strongly about issues, but are not associated with party politics. People take up issues of gender discrimination, child labor, street children and so on, and contribute through the individual and collective actions. Such organizations are able to mobilize public opinion because different issues are relevant to many people in society, and these organizations include Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, which is in Rajasthan, People Union for Civil Liberties, National Alliance of People Movement organization, and Medico's Friends Circle and many other organizations. Such organizations put pressure on the government for changing policies on many important issues such as corruption, human rights, livelihood of different people, environmental issues, women issues, educational and health issues. So, pressure groups help to reach out to many people. They provide a channel for people to express their grievances and also work constructively for the change. Now, pressure group points out when the government is not fulfilling its promises to the nation. Pressure group attract idealistic and committed young people, even acting as a space for teaching and learning good citizens. Now, good citizens are vigilant and alert. Civil society groups are formed by such vigilant citizens, and many of them struggling for the large social good, often sacrificing their own comfort, time and energy. India is home to several non-violent protests. Mahatma Gandhi is known as over the world for developing methods of satyagraha, civil disobedience and non-cooperation. So, although he used this method in the context of foreign rule, the methods are still relevant. The methods have been successfully used. For instance, the Self-Employed Women Association has influenced the government to improve its policies on the right of women workers. Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan led the people's movement which got the government to bring about the law on right to information. So, dear learners, at the end, to summarize in brief, we can say that the political parties have a definite role in any democratic system. In fact, political parties make democracy possible. They make election possible, they help transfer power, they educate people and make government responsive. In India, political parties are of two types: national political parties which influence extending to the entire country, regional political parties with influences limited to particular states. And among the national parties, we have the Congress I, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Nationalist Congress, the Communist parties, the Bahujan Samaj Party, and the regional political parties include among others the Akali Dal, the DMK and the AIDMK, the Telugu Desam, National Congress, the Assam Gana Parishad, Arunachal Congress and others. So, the national political party plays a positive role with their national agenda at the center, and the regional political parties with their provincial agenda play a definite role at the state level, and pressure groups different to influence or as they are from political parties exist the functions to influence the policies of the decision makers, government to attain specific particular interests, and their role in modern democracies is indeed significant. Thank you, learners.